Hello friends, welcome back to the next session on Service Operations Management. Now let's begin with our learning. In this particular session, we'll be understanding and dealing with the concepts of need for product and process improvements. The learning objectives. At the end of this particular session, the learners will be able to understand what do we mean by the product and what is the process improvements, what are the various activities that have been undertaken in terms of product and process improvements, and what is the need for product and process improvements. And lastly, why and how product and process improvements are undertaken in the business organizations and what is the need for it. Now let's understand what do we mean by the product and what do we mean by the process improvements. So product improvements is the process of making the significant improvements or changes in a certain product that results in the acquisition of either new customers or the enhancement of an existing customers. So we have a certain product which is already available into the market, and when we improvise that particular product in order to see that the existing customers are being retained with a certain product, or we try to create the new products for a certain product, or that is an existing product, such type of initiatives are called as in product improvements or the process improvements. Adding new product features or improving the current ones are the two most popular approaches to improve a product. So wherein a particular product is already existing into a market, and when we add additional features to a certain product, or when we improvise the current ones, such type of activity that have been implemented in the business organizations that have been related to a product or to a service are called as product improvements. Now let's take an example in this particular case. That is, you have a particular cell phone or a particular mobile phone. Now in this particular cell phone or mobile phone, initially it is having with an inbuilt specifications or inbuilt specific features. What does the company do? Apart from the existing product, the new features are continuously added to that particular product, and those particular new products are continuously delivered or offered to the consumers. And hence, when new features are always continuously added to those particular product, we try to identify the certain process or level of activity that has been undertaken. It is a part of a product improvement. So during the product improvement processes, the purpose of this particular activity is to assist the business in proactively focusing on enhancing the customer value. So how the value of the customer can be enhanced so that better quality of service can be delivered, his ease of life or conducting of business activities or a day-to-day operations can be minimized. And hence the product improvement focuses on creating a better product which is offered or delivered to the customers or the consumers. Now let's understand what the various process improvement examples. So in case of a process improvement examples, we can undertake the various steps. That is improving the product quality. So when we see that the process has been improved, we can first initially improvise or create a better qualitative product. The second consideration that can be used is upgrading the service quality. So whatever services that have been delivered to the customers, that is maybe related to the products, maybe related to the goods, maybe related to the services, maybe related to the during the sales, maybe related to after the sales. All these particular services quality may be improvised and upgraded, and accordingly better quality services can be delivered. Improving the delivery times. So accordingly, every product is having its specified delivery time, and on the basis of improvising the delivery times, we can offer a better qualitative product within a specific and designated time period. So hence delivery times plays an important role. Reducing the billing cycles. So on the basis of reduction in the billing cycles, we can deliver to the products to the customers in a specific short and time period. And from those particular perspectives, billing cycles can be reduced. Making the production more efficient. So when a particular production activity is more efficient, on this particular basis, we can identify, and accordingly, the production activity can be created in a very better consideration, and those particular activities can be in an effective way. Now let us understand what is the process improvement steps that can be taken. So the various steps for the process improvements that can be taken are mapping, analyzing, redesigning, assigning resources, development of an implementation plan, communication and execution, and monitoring and optimization. So what we need to do is the process improvement activities deals with the internal activities in a certain organization, wherein we need to map each and every activity for the better upliftment or development of a qualitative product. So designing a certain processes, designing a certain activities in which the qualitative product or better product can be delivered to the customers. Such type of initiatives are being undertaken, and how we improvise the process. So in a manufacturing organization, in service organizations, when the service or the product is being delivered to the customers, How do we undertake the various steps or measures to effectively deliver the qualitative products? All those measures or steps are being provided in the process improvement cycle. Now let's understand what are the various weak points or the bottlenecks. The weak points or the bottlenecks that have been associated in these particular process improvements or the product improvements are reducing the process completion time. So accordingly, we need to see that how do we reduce the process or the completion time? How do we improvise the process efficiency and quality of product? Eliminating of the wasted efforts. So whatever efforts that have been undertaken, those particular efforts should not be wasted, and elimination of such activity is essentially required and important. Reducing the friction in the business processes. So accordingly, whatever friction that has been required in the business processes, that particular processes friction should be reduced and it should be minimized. Meeting the regulatory compliances. So accordingly, the regulatory compliances should be met on a timely perspectives. Now let us understand what are the various 7 steps to the process improvement. The 7 steps to the process improvement are: number 1, mapping the process; number 2, analyzing the process; number 3, redesigning the processes; number 4, assigning the resources; number 5, developing an implementation plan; number 6, communicating and execution; number 7, monitoring and optimization. So these are the various steps. If they are being implemented in a very effective consideration, the process improvement activity in a manufacturing organization or a service delivery can be very effective and can be very qualitative. Now let us understand what are the various ways to improve the work performance. So the various ways to improve the work performance are setting the clear milestone, that is what is our target and what do we need to achieve. Planning and prioritization as to how we have a proper set or a plan or series of activities and which activity should be prioritized first. Number 3, that is planning your meetings well. So accordingly, planning each and every meeting, that is an activity, in a very well and organized and predetermined way is essentially important. Communicating it in a better way. So accordingly, effective communication is very important in order to improve the work performance in the business organization. Conquering the difficult task first. So whichever tasks are being difficult or of a prioritized nature, that particular task should be prioritized and should be given a better importance. Not losing the focus. So accordingly, we should not eliminate or lose the focus on the certain activities and not get disturbed with various interruptions or milestones which can be occurs with respect to the bottlenecks that can be arising. Acknowledging the strengths and weaknesses. So we must acknowledge and accept whatever strengths, weaknesses are being associated in the business organization, and we must try to overcome those considerations. Be aware of your limitations. So accordingly, we must be very careful and aware of what our limitations are and how do we overcome those limitations. Now let's understand what are the various process owners that have been associated in a business organization. So in case of study of an example of an FRIBO, there are various process owners that have been associated with a certain step or series of activities. Those particular steps are ensuring the transparency in the processes, reducing the process cost, enhancing the accuracy of the workflows, increased the process speed, increasing the customer satisfaction, boosting the staff productivity, enhancing the supplier relationships, and lastly, improvising the quality of the end products. And from those particular ways, we can improvise the process owners, and on those particular basis, process activities can be created in a better consideration in a business organization. Now let's understand what do we mean by the workflow optimization. The concept of workflow optimization is been continuously focusing on certain type of activities which can be conducted in a business organization while having a better control on speed, accuracy, cost, transparency, and the end products. The relationship, the productivity, the staff satisfaction, the supplier relations, and the customer satisfaction. So by having a control and optimizing of all these particular activities, the workflow optimization can get taken in a very better way, and all the activities can be improvised in a better consideration. So the product improvements or the process improvements activities can be undertaken in an organization only when we have proper workflow optimization activities, and all these set of series of activities are being implemented in a better consideration. So given the current economic conditions of this scenario, one needs to identify and see that how the standard normal situation can be adopted in a business organization, and the capacity as to the production of the business consideration are being effectively used, and we provide a better physical and cultural capacities for the families. Whatever product that we are manufacturing, it is always of a qualitative nature, and the service is always delivered in a very effective mode. The service that we are delivering, it always at a certain level provides a certain satisfaction level, and the customer is always ultimately happy with the service that has been delivered. Quality being a very essential perspective, we must always try to delight our customers, and accordingly, we must not negotiate on the quality. The long-term income and the profitability of the business organization is always only dependent on high quality items that we are delivering to the customers. And hence, the ability to deliver qualitative services to the customers is essentially important, and it should always provided or preferred by the organization. Now let's summarize what we have learned in this particular session. In this particular session, we have understood what do we mean by the product and the process improvements, what are the various activities that have been undertaken in the product and process improvements in the goods and services, and lastly, how do we implement the product and process improvements in the general business organization. I hope you must have enjoyed the learning in this particular session. We'll stay connected and we'll continue with our learning. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you.